Coming up, narcissistic personality disorder is a mental condition characterised by the person affected having an inflated sense of their own importance, a deep need for excessive attention and admiration, troubled relationships, and a lack of empathy for others. But behind this mask of extreme confidence lies a fragile self-esteem that's vulnerable to the slightest criticism. Does this remind you of anyone? Stay tuned. Thanks for all the kind offers of donations to the Truth to Power channel, but all I ask is please just give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications of future videos, and if you really want to help, then please do share on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Reddit, or wherever else you can to help get the word out about Brexit and other government corruption. Today, rather than rehash all the various Sue Gray commentaries and the other fallout from Partygate or the rambunctious proceedings in Parliament earlier this week, I thought I'd take a step back and take a cold, hard look at Boris Johnson, the narcissist. Some of my less ardent viewers may not know that many years ago as an undergraduate, I studied psychology under Helen Weinreich-Haste, Emeritus Professor of Psychology at the University of Bath. And although I only graduated with a Desmond, that's a 2-2 for you non-Londoners, it gave me a lifelong interest in psychology, and I view politics mainly through that lens. I believe that Boris Johnson has psychopathic tendencies. You only have to look at his let the bodies pile high statements, and worse, his actions in overseeing a government policy that released thousands of patients testing positive for COVID from hospitals into the care home sector, leading to many thousands of unnecessary deaths. Or his complete disregard for the consequences of his careless talk as Foreign Secretary, which resulted in British citizen Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe being incarcerated in Iran to this very day, depriving her young family of a mother and a wife, and for which he has never taken responsibility or shown the slightest remorse. I don't want to get bogged down in definitions from the social science of psychology, but the terms psychopath, sociopath and narcissist are often used interchangeably as they do have quite a large overlap and fairly similar characteristics. I believe the current Prime Minister, current at least at the time of recording this video, frequently exhibits behaviour that neatly fits under any of these headings. But let's look particularly at Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson, the narcissist. A narcissistic personality disorder causes problems in many areas of life, such as relationships, work, school, or financial affairs. Okay, relationships. Here's a man with countless children. It's been said that it may be as many as 11 or even more by countless different women. A man that was having an affair with his current wife, Carrie Johnson, the woman whose name doubles as her job description, while his then current wife was undergoing treatment for cancer. Problems with work? The British public see this every day in his every lie, his every U-turn, hiding in fridges, taking endless holidays. He was fired from the shadow cabinet for lying back in 2004 by Michael Howard. Problems at school. Remember the letter from Eton School Classics master Martin Hammond, written to Boris's father, Stanley Johnson, in 1982, which outlined what could almost be a definition of narcissistic personality disorder in the 17-year-old future Prime Minister. Boris really has adopted a disgracefully cavalier attitude to his classical studies. He sometimes seems affronted when criticised for what amounts to a gross failure of responsibility, and surprised at the same time that he was not appointed captain of the school for the next half. I think he honestly believes that it is churlish of us not to regard him as an exception, one who should be free of the network of obligation that binds everyone else. Problems with financial affairs. Take your pick. Wallpaper gate, anyone? Problems remembering he tapped up Tory donors for donations towards the Downing Street flat refurbishments? Describing his £250,000 salary writing part-time for the Telegraph while Mayor of London as chicken feed. The dodgy payments and grants to Jennifer Arcuri's company whilst having an affair with her as London Mayor. The list just goes on and on. People with narcissistic personality disorder may be generally unhappy and disappointed when they're not given the special favours or admiration they believe they deserve. Check. They may find their relationships unfulfilling. Check. And others may not enjoy being around them. Check. Alright, I'll stop saying check, but see how many of the following symptoms you think you could say check to when it comes to Boris Johnson. People with narcissistic personality disorder have an exaggerated sense of self-importance. They'd never resign. Have a sense of entitlement and require constant, excessive admiration. So much so that they want to be Prime Minister. Expect to be recognised as superior even without achievements that warrant it. World-beating this, that and the other, when it's usually anything but world-beating. Exaggerate achievements and talents. Got Brexit done? It's February 2022, nearly 6 years after the referendum, and there are still aspects of Brexit that are not yet implemented, and we're still all waiting for any Brexit benefit other than crown marks on pint glasses and pints of champagne. In other words, any Brexit benefit at all that is not literally pint-sized. Narcissists believe they are superior and can only associate with equally special people. You only have to look at the disdain with which he lies to the very people that vote for him and his rotten party. The red wall Tory that thinks they'd enjoy a pint with good old Boris down the pub. I've got news for you, mate. He wouldn't be seen dead in your local pub. And he certainly wouldn't spend his time with people like you. Monopolise conversations and belittle or look down on people they perceive as inferior. Ditto. Expect special favours and unquestioning compliance with their expectations. Think about the recent blackmail scandal with his whips, presumably on his instructions, blackmailing his own MPs who weren't supporting him in his job on threat of losing their constituency funding or having fake but embarrassing stories leaked and briefings against them put in the press. Take advantage of others to get what they want. Pete Johnson. Have an inability or unwillingness to recognise the needs and feelings of others. No empathy whatsoever. One of his favourite terms is, I take full responsibility, whilst at the same time taking absolutely no responsibility whatsoever, firing everyone around him just to protect himself. Be envious of others and believe others envy them. Accusing Keir Starmer of being jealous as Johnson rolled out what he keeps referring to as the fastest vaccine rollout in Europe. For a brief time, the initial vaccine rollout was the fastest in Europe, at a time when we were still within the EU regulatory framework, by the way, so nothing to do with Brexit whatsoever. But other countries since then have far surpassed our vaccine rollout, with higher ratios of second and third vaccines right now. Behave in an arrogant or haughty manner, coming across as conceited, boastful and pretentious. Need I say more? Pretentious? Johnson? The self-styled 21st century Churchill? Insist on having the best of everything. For instance, the best car or office. Or wallpaper? Or yacht? Or world-beating whatever his latest vanity project is? Garden bridge? Airport in the Thames estuary, water cannon, etc., etc. At the same time, people with narcissistic personality disorder have trouble handling anything they perceive as criticism, and they can become impatient or angry when they don't receive special treatment. So often loses his rag at PMQs on the rare occasion when Starmer manages to skewer him. Have significant interpersonal problems and easily feel slighted. Again, I'll leave you to say, check. React with rage or contempt or try to belittle the other person to make themselves appear superior. Yes? In Parliament on Monday this week, in response to Keir Starmer's impressive speech, Johnson was reduced to bringing up a long debunked far-right trope that as Director of Public Prosecutions, Starmer allowed Jimmy Savile to avoid prosecution. Absolutely nothing to do with the matter in hand, and Johnson himself must have known that was a lie while he was saying it. Have difficulty regulating emotions and behaviour. Sexually incontinent, party incontinent, holiday incontinent and spendaholic. Experience major problems dealing with stress and adapting to change. He's Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, yet he still acts like an Eton schoolboy. He's never adapted to change in his whole life. The world and the rules have to change to suit him. Feel depressed and moody because they fall short of perfection. By all accounts, that is also true, listening to his ex-colleagues from his days as a journalist and as a politician. And finally, have secret feelings of insecurity, shame, vulnerability and humiliation. I really, really, really hope that's true. So what do you think? Is Boris Johnson a narcissist, a psychopath, or a sociopath? Leave a comment below.